Hey guys, it's Matt. I'm here to talk a little bit about Ash vs. Evil Dead Season 1 finale called The Dark One. It's probably, we could check on this, but I think it's probably the bloodiest, most violent episode of the season. It makes sense, it's the season finale. We know there's a Season 2 coming, sort of hence the reason he didn't defeat the Evil Dead in this episode, and it's continuing on into next year. It's also, I think, the longest episode of the season by a few minutes. It was definitely a packed episode. Really good showcase for Lucy Lawless, who wasn't a big part of the season up until probably last episode, but she and Bruce Campbell had a lot of really great scenes in this episode. This episode also really handled Ash really well. Season's been a bit uneven tonally with regards to Ash as far as his maturity level, as far as how much he cares about Pablo and Kelly. Sometimes he's really earnest and very serious. And then other times he just goes back to being a jackass. I think that this episode and last week's episode really nailed the tone really well as far as the balance between him caring about his team and being a bonehead and making wrong choices. So at least leaving the season, we got the Ash that we all really like. This episode was written by EP showrunner Craig DeGregorio. I hope I'm saying his name right. He gets the tone. He's written for Chuck and Workaholics. So he can be very funny, and this episode was, like I said, also very gory, like when Ash is chainsawing dead-eyed Amanda and blood's pouring everywhere, and then poor Heather, I think that's her name, played by Samara Weaving, who I think is actor Hugo Weaving's niece, the blonde hiker. Our three main characters didn't get killed off this episode. They live on to fight in Season 2, but so she had to be the one, sort of the sacrificial lamb here, and she kind of got tortured and really messed up by the cabin. She got nails in her face and her feet. She got ripped apart, turned into a geyser of blood. So she went through the ringer, and she did not come out okay. And Kelly had her own battle with the cabin, which we found out was sort of like this living entity in its own right, bleeding through the walls and the doors. And Pablo got turned into the Necronomicon somehow, and he was vomiting up children. And as far as the Ruby character goes, though, we didn't get a huge explanation as to what she is, other than the Dark One. Was she possessing Ruby? Did Ruby never exist? Was there really never like a Professor Nobi's daughter character? And was she just tricking people the whole time? We do know that she wants to control all the demons and the evil forces within the Necronomicon, which she wrote. So things weren't completely clear, but I think it was enough of an Evil Dead explanation for this universe to sort of work. And like I said, really, the money was in her scenes with Bruce Campbell, and those really paid off really well. And we can go to the ending. Like I said, Ash did not defeat the evil in this episode. Everything's going to continue on into Season 2. What I liked about his copping out at the end, the truce that he sort of agreed to, was that he was offered it twice. So he got offered it in the cabin and refused it, so he got to refuse it once, and then at the end, when it wasn't winning, and things weren't going his way, and he really did want to save Pablo and Kelly, he sort of took the Jacksonville option and making things worse for the world, as Ash usually does, so it was very fitting for the character. So I really liked this episode a lot. It was very bloody, very violent, really good way to end the season that had its ups and downs, but it really ended on a strong note. So you can read my review on IGN, and let us know what you thought of the episode in the comments below.